Do we even need nurses in hospitals? Like, what do nurses actually do? This is a question that I low-key had before becoming a nurse. Hold your horses before you get mad at me. I am an ICU nurse. My name is Temi. Welcome to another episode of Talks with T. This is where we have real conversations about life and Jesus and everything in between. This is an episode where I really want to clarify what it means to be a healthcare worker, and I also just want to encourage nurses out there who are feeling burnt out and who are feeling exhausted and like their job does not matter. A lot of people do not know the difference between a doctor and a nurse, and a lot of people think that doctors do what nurses do. So I'm here to help and clarify things and basically just tell you what nurses do. I've been an ICU nurse for the past 7 months now, and my goodness, have I been thrown in the trenches. And I'm also a night shift worker, so it's not easy. I kind of just want to let you into the world of a nurse really quick and also just encourage nurses out there. So what do nurses actually do? I want to shed some light on this really quick. I saw a TikTok the other day of a guy helping his girlfriend with a cut or something on her hand, and she was like, "Thank you, you would make such a great nurse." And he said, "You could have said physician." And I thought that was kind of funny because a physician would never really be the one putting a band-aid on you or cleaning up your wound or any of that. Like, nurses do all of that. So not a lot of people know exactly what nurses do. Here's what a doctor does, and here's what a nurse does. Doctors are the ones who focus heavily on medicine and also the condition. They focus on diagnosing you. They focus on determining the medical treatment plan. They focus on ordering tests and medications. They perform the procedures and surgeries, and they manage the overall diagnosis. So doctors focus more on the medicine and the diagnosis, while nurses are the ones who focus more on patient care. Nurses, on the other hand, are focused on continuous assessment and monitoring, recognizing subtle changes in the patient's condition, administering medications safely, managing IVs and lines, wound care, skin care, helping the patients with basic needs when they're not able to do them themselves, pain management, reassessment, patient educations, communicating changes to medical team, coordinating care, advocating for the patient, supporting the families, and being at the bedside with the patient for hours at a time. Doctors usually spend about 10 to 20 minutes with patients. Nurses spend about 12 hours. Honestly, like 36 hours because we are usually there for 3 days in a row. Doctors really are the ones who are saying, here's what we're going to do for this patient with this condition. Nurses are the ones implementing that. As the nurse, we're the ones who are focused mainly on patient care. We implement the orders we've been giving. We don't just say yes sir, yes ma'am, but we also see if the order that's been given aligns with the condition of the patient. Doctors have a lot of patients to take care of, and usually as an ICU nurse, I just have 2 patients compared to what the doctor has. But having those 2 patients means that I need to know everything about those 2 patients. I need to make sure I notice any subtle changes in vital signs. I need to advocate for my patients. I need to stand up for my patients. I need to clean my patient when they can't clean themselves. I need to turn my patients overnight every 2 hours because they can't turn themselves. Some of them are ventilated. They can't make any decisions themselves. So I am taking care of this patient's life. That's what we're doing as nurses. In every unit, the nurse is always the one who knows more about the patient than the doctor. The doctor knows more about the diagnosis. The doctor knows more about the treatment plan. The doctor knows more about the medications giving. Nurses are the ones that are like, is this medication working? Here's what's happening. The skin has not healed in the past week. Something's wrong. Their heart's beating a lot faster than it normally does. Their blood pressure is not going up, and we've given them all the fluids, so now we need to do something else. The nurses are the ones that are noticing these different changes, and they're saying, hey doc, this patient's not doing that great. What are we gonna do next? What do you think? The nurses also give the doctors recommendations. They're like, hey, we've given them like all the fluids we can possibly think of, but we cannot go past this many numbers of fluids because they have a heart condition, because they have heart failure, and we do not want to put them into fluid overload. So now we have to possibly think of going to levo, which will help their blood pressure. And then what are we going to do if levo doesn't work? If levo doesn't work, now what? Okay, maybe we add pressor, maybe we add vaso on that, maybe we go further, maybe we add midrogen pill and levo and vaso. Like, we are the ones who are basically saying, hey doc, this is what's going on with this patient, and you know a lot about this diagnosis, so what can I do for this patient who has a diagnosis that you know all about, who has a diagnosis that you are the one who treated them for? Or who went through this surgery that you know all about the surgery and I know all about the patient. You know all about the diagnosis and I know all about the patient. You know all about the medication and I know all about the patient. Because now I have a patient who has this diagnosis, taking this medication, who went through this surgery that you did, and I'm telling you about this patient because I know more about their details. That's what nurses do. Nurses are the ones who implement the treatment plan. Doctors are the ones who give the treatment plan. Doctors are the ones who do the surgeries. Doctors are the ones who do the procedures. Doctors are the ones who order the medications. Nurses are the ones who give the medications and say, hey, this patient's not reacting well to this medication that you ordered. Maybe we think of something else. And then we all work together. That's what doctors do, and that's what nurses do. I've seen people just not understanding the difference between both. I honestly just wanted to shed light on that. I feel like both are appreciated, both are much needed and very essential in the hospital. I do not think a hospital can run without nurses. I 100% guarantee you. If you were to ask the doctor where the bedpan is, trust me, he does not know, or she. Because it's not something they're supposed to. Like, it's not their job. It's not in their duties. It's so different. And people not understand the difference is kind of frustrating sometimes until you're in the hospital and then you're like, oh, okay, this is what that is. All right. Thank you, nurse. Thank you. There are also like a lot of things that people do not see that nurses do. And I'm just like so grateful now that I've actually gotten to experience it. And thankful to my parents who said I would be a great nurse, because I honestly didn't really understand what nurses did. I wanted to be a doctor initially. I wanted to go to med school and be a labor and delivery doctor. Maybe future me would still end up doing that. I don't know. But my parents were like, I think you'd make a great nurse. You should think about that. And I was like, I don't know. And one thing led to another, and God made a way, and I'm now an ICU nurse. Didn't think I'd make it this far, but I'm really glad that I did. And it's so interesting because I've gotten to just experience this whole new world, and I'm really trying not to make it my personality, but it's literally all I am. Like, I'm literally just like, I've been posting a lot of nursing content, but I also have a really creative side, and I really want to hold on to that and keep strong and all the things. But it's like seeing the nurses now and like thinking about how I viewed them before, I was like, dang, you're doing a lot. Like, you're a baddie. And for some reason, it's hard for me to see myself as that. That's something I need to work on, of like, oh, I'm also a nurse, you know? But I still admire all these nurses because I'm like, you guys are so smart. Like, you're big brains, you know? Like, people don't see how nurses really struggle with what they carry. People don't see how we're literally carrying burdens every day at work, and how it's kind of hard to go back to regular living after seeing the most traumatic thing happen. Like, people are having the worst day of their lives, and we show up for 12 hours exhausted. Sometimes, if I'm being completely honest, I don't want to be at work for 12 hours sometimes, especially after day 2 or night 2. I'm just like, I want to be sleeping right now, but this patient needs my help. And not just my help, this patient needs a nurse, and it's either I show up or someone else is going to show up. And I feel like it's such a privilege to just be able to be part of someone's healing journey. People do not understand how going back home after helping bring someone back to life is so taxing. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. I remember one morning I had finished everything and all my assessment and all, and this patient like coded, and this patient was going into like VFib out of nowhere, because we've seen his like, you know, we've seen his heart monitor just kind of go wonky throughout the night, and we're like, oh, okay, we're gonna keep a close eye on him. And he went into VFib, and his wife is crying, and she's like, no, and it was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you just kind of have to be in it to know. What I'm trying to get at is like, it's a lot. It's just a lot. And if you're a nurse and you're burnt out, I hope you truly understand how much your work matters. And even as a nurse myself, like, I'm so grateful that you choose to show up to work every day, because like, nurses, doctors, PCTs, RTs, speech language pathologists, EVS, hospital housekeeping, CNAs, like every single person in the healthcare, like I hope you truly feel valued, not just by your workplace, but by Christ as well. The fact that you were saying yes to show up, like you are literally part of someone's healing journey, like you're part of someone's testimony. People are struggling and their cells can't do what they should be doing, and they need someone to fight for them. And being able to just be selfless enough to even show up to work even when you're so tired, like that means so much to someone's life. And the burnout is so prominent in the healthcare field because people don't want to show up anymore because it's so freaking tiring. But I hope that you do feel like your work matters, because it does, and that you matter. And that, man, I don't know, I just feel like I'm speaking from experience myself, because it got really exhausted to the point where I just was like, I don't know if I can make it past another 12-hour shift. I'm like, is nursing really for me? Like, I'm so exhausted all the time. I'm so tired. And then I sit down and I think about what I'm actually doing, and I'm like, dang, this is real stuff. Like people's health is wealth. Like, if you don't have good health, that you can't enjoy life at all. And the fact that you're able to show up to work and do your part to help someone's journey, someone's healing journey, that's a huge deal. That's a big deal. Like, I feel like people are just not sensitive to the whole thing anymore. Like, your heart just gets so hardened, and then you're like, what's the point? Like, what am I even doing here, you know? Anyways, maybe that's just me struggling with it, I don't know. But I think I'm also just really tired and sleep deprived. And that's part of me trying to figure this whole thing out. I guess this is really an episode of just like appreciating people who show up to the healthcare field, and people who put others before themselves. Even if you just picked up the job just to make money, like, you're still making a difference in someone's life. You're still part of someone's healing journey. Like, you're still literally making even if it's like you cleaning the room for the patient who's about to arrive, if that room is not clean, things can go south really bad. Like, infections are legit, like they can die from that infection. But you're putting effort and you're showing up and you're saying yes even when it doesn't feel like it. So I hope that you just feel encouraged some way or another. And I hope that you truly just keep running back to the source of life whenever you get really tired. I spent yesterday kind of just in nature and talking to God. And I was like, dang, God, I'm really tired. And I think I'm crying because I haven't slept well. I'm going to day shift. It's okay. I'm going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I feel like myself again. I still feel like myself right now. But I've also seen people struggling and people regretting that they're choosing nursing because they're so exhausted all the time, and the burnout. And I think that burnout really just comes from not feeling like yourself anymore. I feel like when you don't do the things you used to do, when you don't get enough sleep, when you're not finding a balance between work and life, even if it's just 3 days a week, 3 days a week is a lot, y'all. Like, you have no idea how hard it is to bounce back. So I don't know, I guess this video is mainly for nurses and doctors and people in the healthcare field, PCTs, CNAs, techs. Like, you're doing great. You're doing great. And it's a lot, but you keep showing up. You keep doing you. Like, keep praying. Keep going to the source of life. Like, God is so proud of you. You have no idea. There's so many people who come together to help someone's healing journey, and it takes a whole village. It takes a whole hospital. It's not just the doctors. It's not just the nurses. Like, you need to show appreciation. If you're someone who's not in the healthcare field, show appreciation for literally everyone you come across that works in healthcare field. I don't care if all they do is change the trash. Like, we're gonna need someone to change the trash eventually. What does this whole healing thing even mean? Like, you're like, yeah, I guess they're getting better. But really, even like helping your patient feel some dignity, that is a big deal. Like, I cannot imagine being in the hospital and having my butt out everywhere. Like, I'd literally lose my dignity. I'm like, what's the point anymore? You know what I mean? Like, I think showing up with the mindset of like, this is someone's worst day ever, The least I can do is show up for them. The least I can do is just love on them. The least I can do is take care of them. I'm only there for 12 hours, and some people have been there for months. Some patients and their families have been going back and forth for months. Like, you have to remember, as a nurse, you're not just also just being there for the patient, you're also talking to the family as well. Like, you have to explain and let them understand what's going on. Like, they also want to know more. I feel like the burnout can just numb us in such a way that we forget all these things. And it's really important to keep running back to Christ, y'all, because He is the creator of life. And He wants you to find a work life balance, because if you lose yourself in this, it's just, you're not really living. You're not living to the fullest. I feel like I almost lost myself in it. I feel like I was going crazy for a second, and I just started. I'm just a baby nurse because I've only been here for 7 months. Think about a 7-month-old. We don't like it's just. I get so frustrated when I think about it, because I literally am like, I feel like I don't have any right to even talk like that because I've only been at it for less than a year. But I see how some people get really tired. And I understand where the dark humor comes from too. Like, you got to do all these things to cope. But at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to just being a part of someone's healing journey, aka working in the healthcare field in any way possible, that's a calling. You might think that you picked that job up for the money, but you're still doing what you've been called to. You're still a part of helping someone feel less pain. You're still a part of giving someone dignity. You're still a part of advocating for someone. I remember this TED Talk that was shared with us about the hierarchy in the hospital and how it's useless. It was a while ago, like I think it was back in the 1900s, when the lady was talking. She was like, we think that there's a hierarchy, but really everyone who works in the hospital matters every single way. Like, I think the EVS means like environmental services. So they're the ones who replenish the linen, they're the ones who clean the room, they're the ones who gets the room ready for the patient and does the laundry and all the things. Like, that person was someone who was taking out the trash, and they noticed like the patient wasn't really doing okay, or the patient just seemed kind of weird. So they let the nurse know, and the nurse went in there, and the nurse saw that something was really going on and ended up saving that patient's life. So that's why I feel like everyone who works in the healthcare field, you're a part of someone's healing journey in one way or another. Even if it's, again, just taking out the trash means so much. I get so overstimulated when the trash is not taken out, when the trash is overfilling. I don't know about you, but I feel like everything matters. And the enemy is so good at numbing us. And I want to remind you, like, you matter. Your job matters. Even when it feels like you're not doing anything, just remember to run to Christ. Remember to run to the one who saved you. Remember to run to the one who gave you the privilege to be there for someone when they're going through such a hard time. Who gave you the privilege to speak up for someone who cannot speak for themselves. To fight for someone who can't fight for themselves. That is a privilege. You're not just giving medications, you're healing people. You're healing hands to people who need those hands. You're literally, it's not just about medicine. Like, you're literally fighting for people who can't fight for themselves, no matter what position you're in. I've been a PCT before. I was taking vitals and I'm like, dang, this person's blood pressure is way too high, and I've done it 3 times. And I'm letting the nurses know. I can't do much but let the nurse know, and the nurse does their stuff. But if I didn't notice that when I was taking vitals and I didn't let the nurse know, what if something had happened? What if they had a stroke? And then bam, that's it. Their quality of life just goes downhill. But you speak up, you say something, you advocate. All those little things, they're healing people. I want to just remind you of these verses that I kind of did a little research on, thanks to ChatGPT and thanks to the Bible and ChatGPT, just a little bit. But I want to just let you know, for Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. Again, these are God's children you're taking care of. These are God's children you're showing up for. You are God's child. He doesn't want you to just pour and give yourself away to the point where you're drained. That is not what he wants for you, my friend. He wants you to run back to him, for him to refill your heart, for him to re-energize your spirit so you can go out there and pour into those who don't have any more to give. They literally don't. Ephesians 5:2 says, live a life filled with Christ, following the example of Christ. This is a verse that I literally have been living by for the past 3 months. And I chose this one because following the example of Christ means just being kinder, being patient, being gentle, having self-control, all the fruits of the Spirit. And if I can give that to my patients when I show up to work, I go with it with a different mindset. Even when I'm tired, after night 2, I'm exhausted. I get cranky. I don't want to talk to anybody when I'm sleep deprived. I'm irritated. Like, I'm so annoyed. But I'm like, dang, like, this patient is really having the worst time of their life. Like, they're sad. Sometimes they're ventilated and they can't talk and they're just shedding a tear. And it's so heartbreaking. And I'm like, I'm just going to love on you today. I'm just going to hold your hand and tell you it's going to be okay. I'm just going to hold your hand and tell you I'm here for you. I'm just going to hold your hand and tell you I'm here to take care of you for the next 12 hours. Because that's the least I can do. You're in pain. You're hurting. That's the least I can do. There's also 1 Corinthians 15 verse 58. It says, so my dear brothers and sisters, be strong and immovable. Always work enthusiastically for the Lord, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. So everything you're doing for the Lord has a purpose. Trust. It is so nice to see patients sending cards out and sending it to the hospital and saying, thank you so much for taking care of us. Like, I think we had seen a patient who he and his family sent out a card and a whole like box of treats, and it was just so nice. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so amazing. We were so close to losing him, and now he's living a life. He got a second chance at life. And that was really beautiful to see. I hope that these encourages you in some way or another. I hope that no matter what position you're in the hospital as a healthcare worker, that you truly believe that your work matters, and that when you feel drained and burnt out, that you choose to run to Christ, because he is the only one that can refill you. He's the only one that can remind you, hey man, I love you. Hey, I know you're tired, but keep going. Hey, I know it's hard, but keep showing up. Hey, I know you're exhausted, but it's gonna be okay. Hey, I know you're hungry, just eat something. Just take a nap. You'll be fine. You wake up. Once you wake up, you're going to feel re-energized, and you're going to feel like you can do it again, and you will. And you will show up, and you'll do great at it. Even if you're in nursing school, like, let me talk to you for a second. I was in nursing school, and I had to repeat a semester because I failed a class, and it was the best thing that had happened to me. I was so scared. I was like, I don't know if I can do this, God. I'm so exhausted. Like, I feel like this is not for me. I don't think I'm smart enough. But it worked out. It all worked out, and I was so happy. I ended up meeting great people. It's also so easy for you to lose yourself when you're in the nursing field and you are not having community. Man, I encourage you, like, find some people who love Jesus. It changes so much in your life. You go so much further when you have people who love Jesus in your life. You go so much further when you love Jesus. It may not go the way you expect it to, but when hard days come and you're able to lean on Christ, man, you just feel like the luckiest person to know Christ. And what a privilege it is to know Christ. What a privilege it is to get to be like Christ, to get to want to know him more, to get to share him with other people, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And if you think you're successful and you don't know Jesus, man, you are far from successful. This is the truth. This is the life. This is the way, the one and only way. And I do not hate to say it. Cancel me all you want, but Christ is it. And with Christ, anything is possible. With Christ, you can accomplish so much that he has called you to, because he will make a way, and he will put the right people in your path, and he will make it so easy for you when it feels so hard. And even when it does feel hard, he will make you feel like you have enough strength, because you're leaning on him and not on your own power. So my friend, as you go back to work, or as you go back to school, or as you go back to whatever it is that you do, this video is mainly towards healthcare workers, but it goes to anyone else as well. I hope that you truly feel encouraged and that you run to Jesus, because the enemy will make you feel like you don't matter. and he will make you feel like the world is against you. But really, Christ is for you, and he wants the best for you. And I hope that you go out of your room. I hope that you just get some vitamin D, some sun on your skin, and just say hi to people and just like live the life that God has want for you. He wants you to live a good life in the midst of all the bad that's happening. So I hope you say yes to him. And I hope he does all the work in you and gives you all the energy you need. And you continue to grow with him. Thank you so much for watching. I pray that you have a great week ahead. And Jesus, just love on your people and help them run to the truth. And Lord, protect them from any evil, protect them from the lies of the enemy. And just thank you for everything you give and take. Forgive us of all our sins, Lord. In your mighty name we pray. Amen. Have a great day, you guys. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.